for starters, my name's Gwynne. I work in the office of the Provost. Assisting Dr. Benoit is my main job, and I really enjoy that job. It's a lot of fun. What about you? Who are you?
Okay, my name is Bryan. I work for Into UAB. I am a teacher here at Into UAB. I teach English as a second language, so students come to us first and get their English up to scratch, and then they matriculate and get degrees from UAB. I really like it.
That sounds good. Where are you physically located?
We are in Stern Library on the second floor.
Okay.
We've been there for about 4 years.
Okay.
And you guys are in the admin building, I'm supposing?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, on the 10th floor. I guess
How long have you been with?
I've been at UAB for 7 years and 7 months, but I've been in the provost office for a little over 2 years.
Ah, okay.
What about you?
I've been at UAB since 2008. I got my my master's in teaching English as a second language, and then I began adjuncting, and then I was hired full time.
That's cool. All right, let's see. I'm looking at some of these questions. Oh, I like this one. What is your favorite Birmingham restaurant?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think we like Cafe DuPont a lot. If it's a fancy restaurant time, like going to out for a anniversary with my wife or something like that. Sort of a regular go-to restaurant is Taste of Thailand in Hoover. We like that one a lot.
Yes.
How about you?
Well, when I think of Birmingham restaurants and I have like any kind of visitors from out of town, always take them to Nikki's.
Ah, yes, that's great. I
So
love a
good.
mean three.
So good. And that's one thing I've missed about being downtown is how close it is to campus. And I was looking at their menu yesterday thinking, oh man, I wish I could go. I mean, I guess I could, but it's a little bit more of a hike from Hoover to down there.
Ah, you in Hoover?
Yeah.
Us too.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Let's see.
How about this one? What's a challenge? What's a challenge for quarantining for you?
For me, it is making sure I get enough human interaction. It's been really hard not, being able to see my coworkers every day, and I'm very much a people person, so it's hard, and this isn't exactly the same, as
True.
actually being physically with people, and it's just, that's definitely been my biggest challenge. What about you?
The same thing. I am a very much a people person, and so again, the remote is not ideal. I miss my coworkers, and then additionally, it's a challenge not to see students face to face as well. Our team has done a very good job of integrating Zoom into the lessons and creating lessons that are useful to students, but not seeing them in person is there's a sadly a connection that is lost there, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 20 years, so I'm used to being in a classroom.
Yeah. Something about, to me, it's the not being able to look people in the eye. So like you look at the camera and you're looking at the camera. You're not looking at the other person. And it's just, to me, that's like kind of where you lose that connection of not being able to actually look at people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So are you a morning or a night person?
So I probably would be a morning person. When we first began quarantine, I so because I live in Hoover, I had to get up pretty early to commute to get to work for my 8 o'clock class. And then suddenly I didn't have to do that. And, I could get up at say 7:15 for an 8 o'clock class, which was novel, but I found that I've actually gone back to my old pattern of getting up early. So I guess that is my natural way. What about you?
And I'm the exact same way. I would get up early, to go into work, get my daughter off to school, and started sleeping in a bit, but just recently had started getting back, into kind of the routine of getting up early, just so it's not so much of a shock. But no, I much prefer mornings to nights. I feel like I can think better early in the morning than later in the day.
And I've also found that, like, I'm not just wearing a collared shirt because we're doing this interview today or I'm teaching classes. I found that I wear it every day, and that serves as kind of a transition. Okay, now I am at work doing a work thing, and then when it's time to finish, I will go change into, I guess, casual clothes.
Yeah.
So it serves as a transition for me.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't have that, driving to work in the morning time to kind of prepare you, and you don't have that time in the afternoon to kind of decompress on the way home. I had actually thought about at like 5 o'clock, 5:30ish, getting in my car and driving around the neighborhood. But I decided against it. So, but yeah, there's something to be said for that little bit of time, that you have to think about other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just constantly working, it feels like. Let's see. Oh, do you have?
I like this one. How about coffee or tea or neither?
Coffee for sure.
Yeah, me too. Me too, absolutely.
I've got mine right here. This is not a Alabama A. This is an Atlanta Braves A for anybody who's watching this. But and I like tea also, but if I had to pick one for the rest of my life, it would definitely be coffee.
Yeah, me too, I think. Especially for hot beverage.
Yeah. Although, oh my gosh, Starbucks's pumpkin cold brew cream, whatever it's called, I can't remember, just came out, and it's very, very good if you like cold coffee. So,
okay.
Do you have any pets?
No pets. We have allergies in the house, so pets are off the list. How about you?
We have a guinea pig, a cat, a dog, and a horse. The horse doesn't live in the house. I wish it'd be a lot cheaper if she did, but yeah. So
tell me about the horse.
So she lives about 30 minutes away out in Moody. So my daughter rides. She's the horse is an American saddlebred. Her name is Peaches, and she's very fast and very pretty, and she knows she's very pretty. So yep, those are our pets.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh, where did you grow up? That's a good one. We should have started there.
Yeah, so I'm from Alabama. But I grew up on the Gulf Coast, so my family's all from Mobile, so I went, let's see, I lived in Mobile for the first part of my life, and then I went to school in Tuscaloosa and moved to Japan and taught English in Japan for many years, and then moved to Birmingham.
That's cool. That's really cool. How long were you in Japan?
About 3 years.
Okay.
I had a history degree, and I'd never seen another culture or been in another culture, so I wanted to try it. And I had a lot of student loans, so Japan pays well, and I could get a job immediately upon graduating. So it fulfilled or checked many boxes, I should say. And I really, really like Japan a lot. It's very, it might seem odd, but it's very southern. in its politeness and its kind of reserve. And so I felt and feel very comfortable there.
I was going to say you felt at home.
Yeah, very
That's
much so.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I don't have any kind of cool story like that. Born and raised in Georgia and moved to Birmingham to go to school at UAB. So I've lived other places. My husband's job has taken us to Athens, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, and then Fort Myers, Florida, back to Birmingham. So.
Fort Myers. Did you go to the Edison home, I guess?
We did, yes. Very, very nice. Yeah, I worked at FGCU while I was down there. And it's funny because I had told my husband years ago with his job, I said, I'll move anywhere except Florida. I never want to move to Florida. And then
Why is that?
We ended up moving to Florida. So that's
of course.
Never say never. I was happy to move back to Alabama. The seasons, when you're that far south, you don't really have seasons. And it's so hard, at Christmas time when you see commercials of snow and all this, and it's, 85 degrees outside and you're wearing shorts and tank tops. It's like, I don't know. It was just strange for me. I like my seasons and you just don't have them there.
So living in Japan was the first time I'd really experienced seasons, and they really are transitional. And Birmingham has seasons as well, but Mobile, of course, it's basically like Florida. It's hot all the time. So.
Yeah, it's just not good. Yeah, you have hurricane season, wildfire season.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the seasons I'm talking about. That's funny. Oh, let's see. What else does she have here? I tried to come up with some questions on my own, but I wasn't able to do that. We got hardest part of
How about the best trip you've ever taken?
Best trip I've ever taken. Would probably be my husband and my sister. Before my husband and I had kids, and before my sister had kids, we flew to Seattle, and we drove up to Squamish, British Columbia, along the Sea to Sky Highway. And it was just amazing. It was so, so beautiful. And the weather was just perfect. And it was just, I don't know. I was ready to find a job in little bitty Squamish, British Columbia, and move there for the rest of my life. It was so nice. Yeah, it's way up there. It's Whistler, British Columbia, which is where a lot of people go skiing. It's about an hour or so before you get to Whistler.
Could you take the cold?
Well, we went in May, and it was 92. And apparently the local swimming hole was still frigid. The water was still really cold. So yeah, I think so, because I love the snow, and I actually like cold weather. And that's probably because I have lived in the South most of my life. I could stand it for a little while at least.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't really like cold weather at all. The winters here are about as much as I can endure. The thing I don't like about it mostly, I think, is shorter days. I really like a long day.
Yeah, I have trouble with that too when it's like pitch black at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, you look outside and you're like, oh,
yeah.
I need some sunlight.
What about best trip you've ever taken?
Best trip. So I really like traveling a lot. So I've been to many places, but I would say Japan was probably my best trip, and I initially had planned to only be there for a year, but as I said earlier, ended up staying 3. And from Japan, you can you can jump off to other countries. Like I have a friend who lives in the Philippines, so I went to visit him. So I just really enjoyed Japan. You could spend a lifetime just exploring Japan and be fulfilled, I think.
Yeah.
I've been on cruises and stuff too, in the Caribbean and that kind of a thing. I haven't been to Canada, but I've been to Toronto. So I guess more on the eastern side of the country than British Columbia.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Let's see, what else is there? What about Netflix? What have you been streaming on Netflix?
Well, I don't actually have Netflix. I have Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And HBO Max. So actually, I guess during the quarantine, I've been watching reruns of The Big Bang Theory and Friends.
Okay.
I guess it's just it's a comfort to have something that right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of baking shows, which is probably not a good idea, but and for some reason the Christmas baking shows, even though it's
really
almost September. Yeah, I don't know. I guess because that's like my favorite time of year, and it makes you happy and hopeful that Christmas will be somewhat normal this year, maybe.
Could you find some yeast?
What now?
So I'm extending. So you've been watching the baking shows. Have you been baking because of that? Yeah.
No, not really. Just watching them and imagining, oh, I bet that tastes really good. I don't know why I torture myself like that.
Oh, funny. So I actually have been watching baking shows as well, but on YouTube. I watch a guy named. You ever watch a guy named Chef John?
Oh, I don't think I've heard of him.
No. No, I think he's a professional chef, but he basically has a recipe for everything, and it's fairly easy. So if I'm like, well, I wonder how to make this, I usually Google that and follow his instructions. So it works pretty well. It took me about 3 months to find some yeast in the store.
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yeah, I remember when all this first started, like you couldn't find flour, you couldn't find yeast. And I was at my local Piggly Wiggly, like there was no bread. All they had was like a couple of packages of like flatbread. But I went to the freezer section and found these, they come in packs of 3 frozen loaves of bread. And so you just let them thaw, and like you would like a regular loaf of bread that you would like let sit and rise. Same kind of thing with bread, and then you bake them, and it's like fresh baked bread. I mean, it was delicious. So I bought those I didn't hoard them. I bought like 2 at a time, but yeah, it worked out perfectly. And I was like, nobody is buying this. They probably don't know it's here. So
yeah.
So that's one thing that I've found from quarantine that I'm continuing to buy since then. Because it's like having homemade bread without having to go through the trouble of actually making homemade bread. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
there's nothing like the smell of baking bread. It's just wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I know. So good. Well,
it was great to meet you, Gwynne.
Yeah, you too. Now I know somebody else on campus.
Yay!
All right. See you later, Bryan.
Okay, bye.
Bye.